Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I am delighted to have a guest today, Silvana Rosero. She is the owner, the CEO of a marketing firm, a media firm in the United States, I believe in Texas. And she's going to share some tips with us about why it is so important to bring ethics back into business. So with that, I would like to introduce Silvana. And Silvana, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business so people can get a sense of who you are?
Hi, Sandy. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I own Laguna Media Group, and we're located in Texas. And what we do is we help business expand their digital footprint. So what does that mean? Anything related to their digital strategy, web development, social media strategy, content production in form of the video, or events, whether that be live or digital production. So we help businesses of all sizes, from Fortune 500 companies to smaller. We have a special heart for minority and women-owned companies. It's a wide range, and nonprofits, corporations, and government sector. So we have a wide array, and we have been in business 19 years.
Very nice. Very nice. Can you outline for the viewers what your opinion is or what your views are regarding ethics in business, and what kind, maybe some tips on certain standards that maybe are important?
Yes. So definitely one of the keys is being trustworthy. Do as you say, right? And so if I tell you, Sandy, I'm committing to you to executing this project in 2 weeks, let's do it. You know, there is you shouldn't have to be chasing me to get the job that you're paying me to get it done. So that develops trust, right? Being on top of things, communication. There is never over communication. Communicating at every step is just so important with the client. You know, what the client don't do what we do. We know, we are the subject matter experts. So if we have a process, let's communicate it. All information that's useful to the client and walking the client through the process, it's so helpful. It helps smooth everything in the process, and it allows the client to ask questions at any time, things that they probably wouldn't think about it, but because we're the experts, it sets us also our credibility as experts in the matter, and it makes the client feel like we know what we're doing, right? And then the other thing is you know, setting the boundaries or expectations. So making very clear, once we engage in doing something with a client, what are the expectations? What should you be expecting of me to do for you for the contracted amount as a supplier? And what am I expecting from you, right? And so that way you will know if you have some homework to do. But for example, if I was doing something for you, you're the subject matter expert. And so you're providing certain content. And if I set that expectation up front, that you're going to give me by so and so content, and then from there, I'm going to pick up and work on something by so and so date, then we're in agreement. And if you like it, it's great. If you have questions, or maybe if you can't, then we'll have a conversation about that, rather than coming back at the end and have certain assumptions, and you would be upset because you thought I was doing so and so, and maybe I would be upset at you as a client because you should have been doing so and so, but I never told you. So how should you be doing this? So it helps. It creates strong relationships to do all those things.
Yes. And with so much of the businesses, just with the current situation going on with businesses being locked down, so much more is going online. So it's almost harder to make that personal connection, but it still can be done through, communications like the Zoom that we're using. We can still see face to face and really have strong relationships. So that is fantastic with the media that you're doing, that you're helping people create their brands. Was really pleased with that. Do you have any suggestions on how to align personal ethics, values, and beliefs into a business without it becoming about an ideology?
Yes, I think if you have certain ethics, first of all, I'm a big fan of saying who you are and your ethics and your values up front in your website, out there for everybody to see. Clients and especially large companies are looking for alignment and like-minded people. So if you're out there in business, you should look for like-minded people. And this is not to be pushy or anything, but we don't have to think the same. We all don't have to have the same values, but it is nice to be upfront and say, this is what I'm all about. And if you are like that, let's do business together. If you're not like that, there might be others that might align with you, and just move on.
Yes, I totally agree. We don't have to choose everything that comes our way, right? So that's really nice. Why do you in particular like being an entrepreneur? What is it about the entrepreneur spirit that you have that you enjoy your work?
So this is interesting, Sandy. I wasn't brought up as an entrepreneur. I was actually trained to work for someone else. And this is what education does to you. The university trains you to work for someone else, not to be an entrepreneur. But life put in front of me a person who was my business partner when we started the company. He's no longer alive, but he decided that I needed to be an entrepreneur, and it actually took him 7 years of very hard work, encouraging me and convincing me that I was doing the right thing for me to feel comfortable being an entrepreneur. So I mean, when I look back, would I be doing something else and working for somebody else rather than doing my business? No. But this wasn't a natural thing. So for all of the people out there who say, they can't do it or so on, I wasn't a natural, but I became really good at it with a lot of help.
Very nice. And it's so important, I think, with the structures going into so few businesses, that we do really start the entrepreneur spirit again and offer variety compared to what just, the big box stores maybe in retail or a certain way of doing things. It's just so much more natural and enjoyable to see the flair of a personal business and a person's personality coming through in their products and their services. So that is such a nice thing to see as well, right?
Yes, and the nice thing, I'm sorry about the being an entrepreneur, it's that we can make decisions, right? So nothing against the large companies, but we are more agile, we're more nimble, and we can make decisions, right? Because we're not waiting for anybody else to agree or make a decision or something. I can decide if I'm working with you that I don't know, that I'm going to come up with something different to fit your budget, that we're going to work with this person, that I'm going to bring in a designer that aligns better with you as a client rather than this one. So nothing against that, but we have a lot of flexibility, options, agility, and that's what we bring to the table that customers love.
Yes, and it's also part of the creativity that's missing in a lot of the business models, because you can choose who you will work with, what designer will work with what client. This is part of the creativity, is matching up personalities to see what beautiful creations can come out, which is also part of the feminine energy, the creativity that is so needed to come back into business, right? So making those decisions and just creating something amazing for someone else is fantastic. I have a question regarding goods and services. What are some tips for people who are providing goods and services to share? Like, what are some tips that you can share with the people providing the goods and services of how to treat their customers, or what type of mindset to have?
Oh, yes. And thank you for asking that question, because I think I'm in a crusade of bringing nice to the to the business world. And there are so many little things that bring a positive energy and joy to doing business. Little things like if somebody calls you and you couldn't answer the phone, return the call as soon as possible. Nothing more annoying than somebody that behaves as if it was more important than the president of your country, right? Oh, I'm so busy, I couldn't possibly call you in 4 or 5 days. Why? Right? Why can't you call back when you have the little next break after you're done with your conference call in 1 hour or 2 hours? Answer your emails, right? Don't ignore someone. Some people wonder, why does that person have an attitude with me? Well, because that person has emailed you 3 times and you haven't bothered to answer, right? So just answer, be brief if you don't want to spend a lot of time. And then there's another thing, it doesn't take anything away, it doesn't take a lot of time to just be nice and set a positive tone, right? So rather than sending a cold email, Sandy, I need you to do this, and this by so and so. How about saying, hi, Sandy, I'm hoping you're having a wonderful day so far. Checking in with you to see if you can send me this, and this by the end of the day. Would you have a different attitude? Yes, of course. About those things. So make people feel like they're appreciated, right? If you have people working for you, and maybe you have to give some feedback, why don't you I'm not really into just being a soft, like everybody needs pad, but you know what? It doesn't take a lot to recognize people for what they're doing, right? Well, this thing that you prepare is so nice. I would suggest that you add this, and that, rather than say, you did this wrong and you should do it this way.
Yes, and we've had too much of that.
The other thing is, like I was saying before, do things. If you commit to something, do it. We live now at a time where people are full of excuses, and they say, I will get this done by Friday. Friday came by and no word, and then you're left scrambling. That is not right. Just do things and stay organized. And if you're not going to make it for a really valid reasons, just say, hey, Sandy, I don't know, I have X problem, I'll get it done by tomorrow, I know I'm not going to meet my deadline. But just do as you say, do as you promise, and don't under deliver. If nothing else, under promise and over deliver if you want, or at minimum deliver what you promise. Never over promise and under deliver. That's bad business etiquette.
I know, I hear you on that. And sometimes it's easy to forget things, but if that's the case, then you have to come up with a new system that you don't forget, or you have your alarm set in your computer to remind you about timing and what you have on your plate, right?
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, nothing nicer than working with somebody who has their act together. And part of having the act together is caring about these things. And so part of the etiquette of doing business, do as you say. It doesn't take very long to be nice.
No, it doesn't at all. And that is definitely one that I think needs to come back. People work so many hours as well that they lose sight because they're tired, they're overworked too, right? I know so many people who've been cut back in a job, or somebody's been cut back, and then they get another 3 or 4 hours worth of work on their plate every week. And it's just not a nice environment. So that's fantastic, the tips you're giving.
And to your point, Sandy, I'm so sorry with these people that are overworked. when you are mindful, there is a saying, it goes something like, you get more with honey that when you get with lemons. So you're not going to get more out of people being nasty. You
Yes,
get more out of people being nice and mindful and considerate.
yes, I totally agree with that. So if you're looking at aligning, not your values necessarily, but let's say somebody asks you to do something that goes against what you believe in. What, do you have any advice of what you would tell people to do in that situation?
Yeah, a lot rides over our shoulders when we have a business. We have so many obligations. And as business owners, we're not only looking for obligations, but we're also guaranteeing families' incomes, right? So sometimes it may feel like, we have to take business no matter what. And sometimes they're asking of us things that we're not comfortable doing. And so I just say, the more you're open about what you're about, and start building an image about what you're about, the more like-minded people you attract. As a matter of fact, large companies, when they look for suppliers, they look for alignment. Not only that you can provide the goods and services that they want, but that you are like-minded as far as your values, that the values align. So it might feel like it's scary to walk away from a deal where you don't feel comfortable about what they're asking you to do. But um, I received about 6 years a gift from up there, from the big boss. I used to worry a lot, all the time, fretting about where the next contract is going to come. What are we going to do now? And one day, it just felt like I was going to be okay. It's going to come from somewhere. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, and being good, and it will come. And let me tell you, it's a blessing that keeps coming. This year, I'm in service of an organization, and I really haven't had time to do business development. This is unheard of. My clients knock on the door. Can you do this for me? Can you do this? I mean, I just let it go, and I said, I'm gonna do this. It'll come somehow, and it's coming. So when you have a family to feed, I know that sounds kind of weird, but just believe me, let it go. It'll be fine, and just be true to what you are.
Very nice. And that's a hard thing to let go of sometime, that need to be in control or worry about where something is going to come from, right? That's really hard for people to do at times, especially if they're
Well,
in fear.
yeah, but you know what? Because that you just said, to be in control, we just we're not in control. we just we some of us at one point in our life never came to terms with the idea that we are not in control. But when we let it go, it just simplifies our lives.
Totally. And it happens. I agree with that 100%. That's just an old habit I think that people got into, the need to be in control or think that they're in control, right? So can I ask you, what accomplishments have you had in your business that make you feel really proud of your business? Like, we all want to feel good about what we do, right? What has come up in your life that makes you feel really good about what you do in business?
Sandy, when we look back, we're a small boutique creative company, and the fact that we've serviced Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, and that we maintained relationships for many, many years, 10 years plus, is something to be very proud of. Also, very proud that we have made it a point to work with the small women and minority owned businesses. They don't have the kind of money that large Fortune 500 companies, but it's very meaningful to me to do that, and so to work with some nonprofits, giving them my expertise and seeing my work out there, and my team's work out there at all different levels. So it's just such a blessing to see all of the body of work that we put out there. We're really proud of it, and just having the opportunity to continue doing it just keeps us going.
Yes, very nice. Do you think pride is an acceptable feeling to have in the workplace?
I don't look at pride as as the sin. I
don't either.
I just look at it as more as the joy for what you do. Like I look at it as, God, we did a good job. This is awesome, right? I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. I want to show it to my friends. This is something I want to show another client that I'm pitching to. I mean, with this great job that we did, this concept that we came up with. That's kind of the pride I'm talking about.
It is a good pride, and there is a good pride. That's what I was trying to get at. Maybe I didn't say it well, but if you don't feel proud of what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Right. If you're not, by all means, let me help you find what makes you happy. Because if what you're doing with us is not making you happy, this is not the right place for you, because you can earn a living doing anything. So, you might as well do it doing what you love, what you like, what makes you fulfilled.
Totally. I think that as well. So it's so important to know that it's okay to be proud of who we are and what we do, because sometimes we play ourselves down too much and we don't want to take credit because we want to look humble, and we can still be humble and be proud of what we do at the same time.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you touched on that, Sandy, because there was one thing also about being proud. So I am talking to this longtime friend of mine. So she's Latina. She wasn't educated here in the United States, just like I am. She has an accent. I have an accent. She's in the audit business, and she was telling me the other day she's looking for another position with a company that's more like-minded with her, and she's asking me, but I don't know if I should continue this process because I don't know if they want to pay me what I'm looking for. And I said, well, why don't you ask them how much to make you an offer? Really? Can I ask them? Because you know what, I've been taught by the recruiters and everything that I shouldn't ask. That's a no, that you can ask as a girl. You are not an entry level, a beginner person. You're up here. You're at the point in your life where you have, at your age, enough energy to produce a lot, and you have a lot of experience. So it is okay to give yourself permission to negotiate how much do you want to go work for that firm, and also to negotiate the terms of your contract. It's okay, but you can only negotiate up front. You cannot accept what they're offering you and then go back and complain about what they're not doing, right? So if you have certain things that are no, you can say up front and leave it in writing. I will come to you if I have this, and that. They will do it, great. You go work for them. They don't do it, and I'm talking a very experienced. She has worked for 500 Fortune 500 companies, and she to this point has believed that she has no power in negotiating. And
We all do.
I was just trying to break that paradigm and say, no,
Yes.
you need to start looking after yourself. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but you have to start claiming your sovereignty over yourself.
Totally. That's great. That's a great story of being able to help somebody find their power. Very nice story, how you just said that. So do you have any other information or any tips you want to share with the viewers today, on business, on entrepreneur, on ethics in business? Because why this is such a timely topic, in my opinion, is people are starting to see others' true intentions. We're starting to see what is going on behind the scenes. We're seeing who wants to be ethical and who doesn't. There's almost like a bifurcation happening. That's what I'm seeing, that we're starting to see more who is aligning with doing the right thing and who just wants to do it for the money. So do you have any other tips or any other information that you can share for people of how they can stay aligned with their ethics or get back in touch with what's important to them? Maybe they haven't visited it in a while.
Yes, you see a lot out there, a lot of coaching on how to fix what's wrong with you. So you could do this, so you could do that. Well, I had a fortune to have one of my mentors to really reinforce something I believe, but I didn't have it very clear in the beginning. To that you can lead from your strengths, right? And so rather than finding what's wrong with you and what do you need to fix about yourself, how about you find what's right with you that gives you strength and lead from those strengths and find people that are aligned with those strengths or that are complementary, right? So if I know that my strengths, for example, and there is a Gallup Strengths Finder test. For example, for me, I would be an achiever. Responsibility is at the top. So that kind of helps you figure out why do you clash with other people or who can be a complement to you, and just understand what your strengths are, lead with that to strengthen other areas where you might not be so strong, or find other people who are stronger in areas where you're not, and that would create a more positive environment, a more fulfilled professional and personal life.
Totally. And that is amazing, to lead with our strengths. And we're not taught to do that in a lot of cases. We're taught to be bashful or just to be shy. And it's okay to acknowledge what you're good at, right? It's really good to acknowledge that on a personal level as well for people.
Exactly.
So Silvana, if people wanted to get in touch with you, where would they find you? Can you share some information and some links with me of where we can find you?
Yes, of course, in my professional area, you can always go check us out, Laguna MG, M as in media, G as in group, lagunamg.com. And you can email me. My first name, Silvana, at lagunamg.com. And, happy to bounce ideas with people. And if people feels like we're right, or otherwise, I'll point them in another direction, right? Somebody called me and said, can I got a nice lady, can you do my wedding video? Well, we don't do wedding videos, but I know these 2 or 3 people that I think could help you. Hear their contacts, talk to them. And
very nice.
there's something like, hey, I want to build my business brand, and where do I start? Happy to talk.
Yes, for sure. And you do walk your talk. I've been working with you and I'm quite pleased with the work you do. So everything you've said here, you've led by example, which is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
You're welcome.
And likewise, what a wonderful experience. And you and I are a testament of how do we build strong relationships by doing these things. Same thing on your end. Wonderful to have clients that do what they say, and and let's just be nice. It makes life so much easier, so much enjoyable.
And it's going to change the whole workplace experience, I think, going forward when we get out of the old paradigm of the patriarch and into the new energy of inspired living, if that's the possible way to say that. So I will definitely share your links below in the YouTube. And if you want, I can send you a copy of this as well, so you can share it with people if you like. And we'll go from there. But thank
That
you.
would be wonderful. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Talk soon.
Talk soon.